All time, we lead us in pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. First, we'll approve our agenda.
Move. Second.
Motion by Denner, second by Weiss. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. This time we'll open the meeting up for any public comment for anything that is not on the agenda. Would anyone like to address the commission? Morning. How are you, Carl?
Good. Well, good morning, Chairman Sutton and Brown County Commissioners, and happy Halloween. Like Brandy said, I'm dressed up for Halloween. I'm dressed as a legislator.
Pretty scary.
That's scary, yeah.
It is. I'm Representative Carl Perry of District 3. I wanted to visit a little bit about the petition process at the Brown County Courthouse. And citizens come to the county offices for the auditor, the assessor, the equalization, treasurer,
If I can
commission.
interrupt for just a minute, Carl, that is on the agenda,
Okay,
so,
but I'll be quick. Then that way you don't have to cover it twice. How's that?
that,
All right, and then does not distract from courthouse purpose. Who can or cannot participate? Who decides how long can the group be set up? What group is next? Scouts, drag queens, marijuana. The commotion and the polarized groups have caused the police to even be called here. Where should it be set up? Maybe public sidewalk is the best. Unfortunately, I don't have a concrete answer, but I am a little concerned, and I just wanted to hit a little bit about the proposed South Dakota constitutional amendment. What it would be is have abortion from the conception to birth, even the horrific late-term abortions, and they would be legalized. The constitutional amendment is confusing and vague and would force future direction of the abortions to be decided by unelected judges, as I said it, or abandoned or abortionists in a Planned Parenthood type thing rather than by the people. The constitutional amendment is also so extreme that it would also override our state's existing common sense bipartisan program. I wrote this down because that way I wouldn't forget it. I'm almost done. Existing common sense laws would be overridden by the constitutional amendment, and some of those are prohibitions on tax-funded abortions, parental notification laws respecting minors seeking abortions, criminal laws protecting a mother from being forced to have an abortion against her will, and conscientious protection so that doctors and nurses can't be forced to participate in performing abortions against their will or their religion. And there would be a list of horrible consequences, and it just goes on and on. The bottom line is that this constitutional amendment is a true extreme and a grave threat to the life of our state. I admire Glenna Remington and the many volunteers, and I appreciate the opportunity to visit with you. I thank you for your dedication to the citizens of Brown County. Even though I might not be at the right point of the meeting, this is the right point to talk about.
thank you. Anyone else?
Good morning, Commissioner and all the other commissioners. If you would like me to wait, I don't know if there will be public comment.
There will be
There will
time
be?
for public
Okay.
comment, that's the reason.
Then I will wait.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to address the commission this morning? In person, out there online, or on the phone? Hearing and seeing none, thank you. We'll move on. Next up, public hearing for liquor license transfer. Stacy Gossman, good morning.
Morning.
Come on in.
Morning.
Notice of hearing upon applications for sale of alcoholic beverages. Notice is hereby given according to South Dakota Codified Law 35-2-5. A public hearing on the transfer of a retail on-sale liquor license is set for the 31st day of October 2023 in the chambers of the Brown County Commissioners, Brown County, South Dakota, at which time any interested persons wishing to register a complaint on their approval may appear. This is for a transfer of a retail on-sale liquor, just updating the location of Stacy Gosman doing business as Nacho Business, to update location from 578 North Roosevelt Street to
2520 8th Avenue Northeast.
Thank you.
Around the corner.
Yeah.
All right. Come on in, Stacy, have a chair.
I'd rather stand.
Sounds good.
I kind of lock up if I don't stand.
Sounds good.
I'm just here to let you guys know the taxes are paid, property's cleaned up. We're getting ready to build some businesses there next spring, and I'd like to move my liquor license over.
Okay, is there anyone here to speak to the transfer of this liquor license? Anyone at all?
Motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion by Weiss to approve transfer, seconded by Gage. Is there any further discussion? Any questions or comments? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
All right, thank you.
Congratulations.
I'll be back with more.
Thanks.
in
Sounds
the
good.
spring.
Thank you.
for stopping in.
All right, next up, second reading and possible adoption of 3 ordinances.
Ordinance 257, an ordinance amending Title 4, second revision, Brown County ordinances amended to rezone certain described property. This is filed by Brown County Planning and Zoning to move heavy industrial district to highway commercial district.
Okay, this is second reading. Is there anyone here to speak to ordinance 257? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to approve.
Move. Second.
Motion by Feldheim, second by Weiss. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Ordinance number 258, an ordinance amending Title 4, second revision, Brown County ordinances amended to rezone certain described property, filed by Nicholas and Nicole Johnson. The described property will go from Agriculture Preservation District to Mini Ag District.
Is there anyone here to speak to ordinance 258? Seeing none, entertain a motion.
Move. Second.
Motion by Dennert, second by Weiss to approve. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Ordinance 259, an ordinance amending Title 4, second revision, Brown County ordinances amended to rezone certain described property, filed by Bernie and Tanya Jark, moving the property from Agriculture Preservation District to Mini Ag District.
All right, is there anyone here to speak to ordinance 259? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to approve.
Move.
Motion by
Second.
Gage, second by Feldheim. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Next up, Aaron Wahlberg to discuss clothing policy. He's our Veteran Service Officer. Good morning, Aaron.
Good morning.
Morning.
Busy place in here.
You're
I'm here for you.
proud.
Yeah, everybody's here for me. I don't believe that.
They want to see what you're gonna wear.
Well, maybe something different if you approve it, so. So that proposal that we sent up, we did the memo and everything for it too. And with the office, we do a lot of outside the courthouse public engagements. We've been doing a lot of meetings at veteran service organizations. We do monthly coffees, stuff like that. Conferences and trainings that we go to. So I was thinking that it would be beneficial if we could have some sort of attire that would signify, who we are with a name, and might make things a little bit easier for us and a little bit more professional in that manner. So with that memo I set up, I think I would be asking for $500 or less to, buy some clothing that would facilitate Jesse and I to go out and do these public engagements. Like tomorrow we have Veterans Coffee again. We got some more public speaking stuff that we're doing. And I do get tasked quite a bit with speaking with veterans groups. I do a lot of public engagements too on Veterans Day, Memorial Day, stuff like that. So that's really what we're looking at. And like I said, $500 or less would be my expenditure on that, if that would be okay with you guys.
Okay.
Move it.
Okay, we have a motion by Feldheim, second by Gage. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Well, thanks.
Tough sell.
Tough sell. Appreciate it.
Aaron,
what you're doing.
while you're here, I just
Yeah.
want to mention, when we were at our convention in September in Sioux Falls, one of the things that was mentioned is at the national level, there's an effort by NACO, the National Association of Counties, to light courthouses green from the 6th to the 11th of November.
Yep.
And I'm proud to say that we have worked with our maintenance and emergency management people, and we've secured spotlights that we will be lighting the courthouse green every night next week. So if you're out and about after dark, drive by, and we'd like to think we're doing our share to support veterans.
Excellent.
So,
It's Stuff like that's good to remind the people, like, the service of veterans. I mean, Brown County's a pretty small county in the grand scheme of things, but, there's 2,400 plus veterans that live in this county.
Yep.
And that's what they have on paper. There's more than that.
Yep.
I can guarantee that. So a good portion of our population has got some sort of service, so recognizing that as a facility, I think is a great thing to do, and I appreciate it.
You bet. They challenge counties to do it, so we wanted to do our parts.
Yeah.
Thanks
Great.
for all you do.
You bet, absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Aaron.
All right, next up, Dirk Rogers, Highway Superintendent, right-of-way occupancy permit and a department update. Good morning.
Morning. First thing is, Webb Water Service. It's on Road 9, just west of, no, you don't have to move too much. Right over there. It's for Myers. It'd be 1 mile over from the church, or the cemetery up there to the west.
Okay.
It's just going under the ground there, so I see no reason not to approve it.
Second.
Motion by Weiss, second by Dennard, to approve the occupancy for Webb Water. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
We're still mowing, and that's what I'm hearing the most about. Mowing and striping and plowing snow will never get it right, but,
Lots of engineers out there.
yeah. But, we are running, we got 6 mowers running, landfill turned one back they'd been renting, so we grabbed that quick. We have a couple spare gangs then that we're running, so we have 6 going there, and we're hauling gravel today, finishing up at Elm Lake. I'm hoping that we'll have the road done today as far as, it's been used, it's been getting used, but, we'll officially probably open it here tomorrow. We got most of the fencing done except for a couple gates, so. A little slow, a little later than I wanted, but we beat Crazy Horse done, so that's good. And, we're cold mix patching, still running around with the small stuff. We'll have a couple more days of hot mix patching. There's some bigger holes, there's one on 14 up there, you know that. And, so there's a couple things out there still that's kind of beyond what the cold mix will do really well, so, got a dry patch this time of year. You can't really shoot oil, but the hot mix will stay in there better than the cold mix if we can still get our hands on it. Bridge 93, which is south and east of Groton, that's 3 south and 1 east of Groton, that's, I've been bounding around, gonna replace that probably for 10 years, but that's a smaller one. Holloway got that done, I believe it's about a 50-footer. And we'll go back to 8-hour days on Monday. Note about my staffing, I'm pretty happy about our numbers. Allison's been able to round up some really good guys, in my opinion. We'll see in 6 months if I feel the same way, but so far,
They're showing up.
yeah, so I'm not like aggressively looking for people right now. And honestly, through the whole thing, I know, Dwayne, in your personal world, you struggle with hiring just like everybody is. And, we've been pretty fortunate that, I was kind of downsizing when people got scarce, so it wasn't too bad. And then when we got to the bottom, we've been able to, when I got to where I decided that's too few, we've been able to put about 3 of them back now, and I'm feeling pretty good about the way we're sitting right now. And then, of course, Kendall retired, and we replaced, moved 2 guys, Matt Heupel and Josh Matthews, moved up, and we're reorganizing some things. And Commissioner Gage was giving me hell, and how come I needed 2 guys to replace 1. But I had to remind him that we eliminated the shop foreman, and John Flory does pick up a little bit of that function and a little more administrative stuff than those other 2 guys do. So I think we'll have a good balance with them. And so anyway, that's my comment about that. What fun do you guys have for me this morning?
I think I've already visited with you about any concerns that I've heard.
Yep.
So I don't have anything additional.
Okay.
Anybody else? All right.
You got the stripers running around, you said?
I did. I'm not sure if they're still here or not.
Okay.
Do you have a spot?
Well, at 12W right off of the 281 bypass there.
12W right off.
Yeah, where
Yep.
you go and you're headed
Yeah.
west and then you make the 90 to go south there. Around that
That
curve
curve.
could get striped again.
I'll have to see if they're still here. Maybe, city's not real happy with me right now. I say maybe I call the city and have them do it, but, we'll see about, I know what you're talking about, that whole thing's just skidded. I don't know that everyone's taking that corner at 10 miles an hour, so there's a little
It
bit
doesn't
of,
seem like it, so everybody knows what side they're supposed to be on.
Yeah.
We haven't had anybody jump off it lately.
No, and.
They know it's there.
It's supposed to, you know, and we made that flat for a reason, and if they ever get to developing that, that's where the intersection needs to be. And that's, a lot of people have asked me why we have that 40-foot wide curve there with no banking on it, you know, it's because it's meant,
It's
you
a
know.
speed bump with no bump.
Yep. Another comment, I don't know, if Russ Padall passed away, I don't know if you saw that.
Oh, really?
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't hear that.
yeah,
It's too bad.
yeah, kind of a surprise, but,
Yeah,
so, anyway.
all right.
All right, well, if anything fun happens, call me, I guess.
Thanks, Dirk.
Thanks, Dirk.
We got your number.
Speed dial.
Yeah. All right, next up, discuss limited public use policy. As I know most of you are aware, over the past couple months or so, we've had the sidewalk on the west side of the annex occupied by a couple different groups, and I think I'm just finishing my 15th year as a commissioner, and I don't ever remember in my term having any causes set up by the courthouse in my time. It may have happened prior to that, but during my time, I don't remember anybody setting up and pushing their cause by the courthouse. So as a result of that, it has come to our attention that we probably need some type of a policy that our state's attorney is working on with input from other counties who have faced similar issues. And so we wanted to just open it up to kind of let people know what our plan is, what we hope to do, and give you some idea of which direction we're heading. We've gotten some information from both Minnehaha and Pennington County. Minnehaha County was faced with an issue that actually ended up with a court decision, and Pennington County has a policy in place that we obtained. And so we wanted to open it up for input so that we could get some public input. I want you to know we're not here to debate either side of the issue. This is strictly Brown County policy on locating the location and what we're going to potentially allow or disallow in our policy regarding this issue. So with that, I would like for Ross to explain shortly or in brief comments the Pennington County ordinance and how you think that might work for us.
Well, I didn't bring that one with me,
Okay.
but 10,000-foot overview, sidewalks are traditional public forums, so our ability to control or regulate that is a little bit more limited. The issue came up as the weather's changing, and so in the absence of a policy, we were looking at ways to, I guess, be a little more accommodating given our climate. That lasted about 4 hours before there were some issues. So inside the building is a non-public forum. We can open it up for access, but we don't have to. Both Minnehaha and Pennington are limited to outside areas. So the other thing we need to account for is that room downstairs that various groups check out. So we would have to build in some kind of exception for that. Really, it's just got to be viewpoint neutral. It can't be one side of the issue or other. So whatever policy we come up with applies to everybody.
Okay. And in my opinion, it sounds like we have the right to require them to stay out of the building. We don't have to allow them in the building. And I'm guessing that the presence of these people with their causes have been more predominant in the last couple of months because it's a busy time for people coming in and paying property taxes. So we've got a little additional traffic that you wouldn't have other times of the year. today's the last day to pay property taxes and be on time. So that traffic will probably slow down, and there the problem may remedy itself after today, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But, you know, given the fact that the courthouse is a public entity and it's open to the public, as you heard the state's attorney say, we don't have to allow people inside. They have the right to be outside in an area that hopefully our new policy will designate where that area is, and that way we hopefully will eliminate the problem going forward. So with that, I would open it up for any comments by the rest of the commission and or the public. Again, we're not here to debate either side of the issue. This is strictly a Brown County policy on what we will allow. Yes, sir.
Good morning. My name is Dave Green. I have a couple of comments. One is, if you let people in the building and somebody gets hurt, trips, falls over one of the petition gatherers or whatever, who's liable? It's in the county building. If the petitioner is out there, and like I said, somebody trips or gets hurt, are they going to pay for, you know, the liability for somebody getting hurt? Also, some of these petitioners are being paid, so is their employer going to do that? Who's responsible? I think you're going to open, if you have in the building, that's going to be a can of worms. And to me, when I get approached by somebody to sign something like that or whatever, it's kind of like when I come out of a building and I find a flyer stuck on my car. I mean, there's nothing that ticks me off and a whole lot of other people. So I'm just hoping that our vestibule out there isn't turned into a zoo. If you let somebody come in, are you going to you have to approve everybody then? Are we going to have you know, Satan worshipers out there pushing their information? You know, or you know, communists, or right now the hot button is Palestinians. Are we going to have them standing there pushing their agenda? That's all I got to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Brandy?
Hey, good morning. Brandy Schaefer, District 3 representative. I just wanted to give you a little personal experience I had with being outside and being on one side of the issue, but being accused of misinformation and lying about the issue. I was told that the group that is offering the petitions, and there's 3 petitions, by the way, not just one, that they are nonpartisan. So in order to be nonpartisan, you would display both sides of the issue, and that has not been done. So I am suggesting that if you do allow people in the building, you know, due to our climate, both sides of the issue have to be presented. The one side, it doesn't matter which side, cannot silence the other. Of course, being cordial is one thing, but even just handing out a flyer, no comment from either party, handing it out, because I was silenced. I was told I was lying. I was told I was being dumb. I didn't know what I was talking about. So that is some things that if you do allow them into the building and people's emotions get in the way, there might be some verbal comments, combat in the courthouse, and do we really want that to be a disruption to people that do business in the courthouse? As I said, if you decide to have them in, and if it's truly a nonpartisan group that is presenting issues, then I believe both sides need to be presented in all of the aspects, not just one particular really passionate issue. Everything needs to be out there. whether people can grab a flyer for pro or con, any petition needs to have both sides. And I thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Senator Northman.
Thank you. Well, I operate a go-kart track, but I do read constitutional law. So, some things you can't do. Let's start out with what you can't do and what you can do. You can't be involved in the content. In other words, what that means is you can't allow a particular group on this subject but not on this subject. Once you open up the floodgates, it's open season on everybody, and I think that's well established. But the freedom of speech is not unlimited. It's limited by time and place. And having read up on what happened in Minnehaha County, Minnehaha County made a mistake. They made two mistakes. One is they looked at the outside area, and they said 99.3% of the outside area is off limits. So you can be in this 0.7%, and you can't do that. That's unreasonable. You can't unreasonably restrict the place, is what I'm saying. The other thing, time is irrelevant. If somebody wants to be out there 2 o'clock in the morning, I don't think you guys are going to have an issue with that. But, so we're really talking about the outdoor space. I think it's a no-brainer to say do not let this activity inside the building. I think that's established by Pennington and Minnehaha, that if you let them inside the building, it's going to turn into something you don't want. But so I'm just here to talk about the outdoor space. What I would recommend you do, and so one mistake that Minnehaha made was they said, excuse my voice this morning, they said 99.3% of the outside space, meaning the parking lot, the sidewalk, cannot be used. The Judge Lang, who happens to, you probably remember Representative Lang, his son, they said 99.3% of the outdoor space can't be used. And the other thing they said is you have to stay 50 feet away from the front door, and that's unreasonable too. Now, so that's what's unreasonable. What I think is reasonable. I don't have any problem with coming up with something approximately 97% of the outdoor space is available. It's due to the exact opposite of what they did in Minnehaha. I think the thing that you need to focus on is, having just gone through the CO2 pipeline issue, is setback. The question is, how far from the front door do they need to be? The only guidance that we've got is can't be 50 feet. So does that mean it can be 25 feet? 20 feet? I do think you should do a setback from the front door, and the reason you should do a setback is, if you don't do a setback, there may be 3 feet, somebody may have a table 3 feet from the front door, and that's, I would think that's interfering with their personal space. So my only recommendation is a setback from the front door, and whether that's 25 feet, I think it's got to be less than 50. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Any other comments? Commissioners, just to weigh in?
I just have a question. Do you anticipate having a policy for us to consider at some point in time?
I do. We're still working on it. I've reached out to Minnehaha because they're revising their policy right now. What Senator Northrup said makes sense. You don't want to obstruct traffic in and around the doorways. So that might be the direction we eventually go with it. The one that I'm concerned about is just trying to figure out how to carve out that exception. And I got to talk with Lynn about what our system is for people using that space downstairs.
Do you think a week, 2 weeks?
Probably a couple of weeks, yeah, we should have something together.
Okay.
I mean, we want to get it right.
Okay. Well, I don't know the details, if I can continue.
Go ahead.
My understanding is there was some sort of a confrontation that prompted law enforcement to respond last week.
Lynn knows more about that than I do. I did talk with...
I don't want all the details, but,
Deputy
you know...
Lemke for a moment about it, but...
If we don't do something short-term, is that something that is likely to
I think
repeat
the
itself?
policy for right now, probably just exclude from indoors, just because disruption of county business is a good reason for that. And we saw it shortly after. We tried to be a little bit accommodating. So that's probably the starting point for now. And as far as getting pen to paper, something a little more comprehensive, in the next couple of weeks.
So no,
Go ahead.
Can we do a verbal policy today then?
That would be fine, yeah.
Just a temporary verbal policy until we get a written one?
Yep, and how far do you wanna go with accommodations? Come inside to warm up? Obviously, no political activity in this area, but use the bathroom. It still is a somewhat of a public facility.
When anyone-
It's just the speech that we wanna try and avoid, so we can avoid problems.
And I think, course of action today, I think that would be appropriate, would be, like you said, someone make a motion to the effect that if we want to restrict them to only outside areas being used, knowing full well we're still a public building, so they have every right to come in and use the restroom just like anyone else would. If they do come inside temporarily to warm up, that would, I guess, in my opinion, understandable, but they're restricted to only do their petitioning outside the building with no access to the vestibule or any other place inside to carry on their process.
Could we add maybe something along, because until we maybe debate on how far exactly, we could just add, you cannot impede anybody's ability to enter or exit the building as of now, just, I mean, verbally.
That would be fine.
I mean, until we come up with an
That's kind of a
exact,
given, but yeah.
well, I know, but you know what?
To make it explicit, and it's pretty reasonable
Yeah.
judgment call.
Do you want to start with just 10 feet? Would that be clearer, or do you want to do that
10
language?
feet from the doorway?
Just as a
If that's
starting
the
point.
direction you guys wanna go, I mean, that sounds reasonable.
We just need more time to look at that, not.
We're talking about public use of the building. We allow public use for our community room downstairs with various groups. Is that gonna come back to, not that I can't imagine, you know, that you can put that off limits to one group and not the other. But the only thing would be, why would you wanna be downstairs doing petitions? Because you wouldn't see 3 people a day.
Well, petitions aren't the only form of political activity or exercising freedom of speech. So, we have had other groups come in and, I guess, give talks about their political ideals, and we've been open to that in the past. So, I don't know what the system is there just a sign-up sheet, or if it's open? And maybe we need to look at that and see how that's used. But the point is, we have to be viewpoint neutral. If you're gonna open it up to one side, it's gotta be open to all.
Right. And in the past, I don't believe we've had any serious issues with the renting or the use of the community room downstairs that I'm aware of. And I think our policy could reflect that it's still available upon request, and it has to be reserved in advance if it's available and so on.
Yeah, it's probably a good time to put pen to paper on that too.
Right. So go ahead, sir.
I have one thing to add too. Recently, when the petitioners moved inside, they had their signs out here, and they had a big sign on top of one of them that said, pointing towards the door, said, "Signed petition inside." Now, that's advertising that the Brown County building and everything is okay with that. No, they're not, you know, they can have their signs outside, but they can't be saying you have to come in here to sign the petition.
Right, and that's why we're here today, to discuss the policy we want going forward. So it sounds like it's narrowed down to that we want to restrict them to outside only, nowhere in the building itself can they be set up, at least 10 feet away from the entrance, and that would be any entrance, obviously, they could set up on any location. Go ahead.
I just have a question. You know, as a political candidate on election day, I cannot be within 100 feet petitioning people to vote for me, correct? So would that kind of fall in line with the petition, signing, asking people to sign a petition? I'm just kind of curious if that...
And I think it's even a longer period than that, it's whenever absentee voting opens,
Yeah,
so it's not just election day.
Well, I'm just saying even
Right.
right now,
Yeah.
if you're advertising to sign your sign a petition at a courthouse during open petition time.
Right.
Is that not the same as me asking somebody to vote for me during an election season, during the time they can vote?
I think based on what I would, and Ross can correct me, if you wanted to set up a table up here asking for people to vote for you, right now, I don't think we can stop you.
That would be fine.
Because we're not in the election
Election
cycle.
time has different rules.
Right.
You can't have any political signs, I think, on the courthouse grounds
Well, and
within a
that's,
distance, the sign part.
that's while we're open
During
in
the
the polling place.
Okay,
I mean,
I'm just curious if it was.
but I think, yeah, you're absolutely right. I think we could restrict any placement of political signs on the grounds themselves. We could restrict that. And maybe that needs to be part of the policy also. I think it's always gone without saying, but it should be addressed that way, it's clear. Anyone ready? Go ahead.
Yeah, I would make a motion to restrict any petitioning or political activity.
Signage or solicitation.
Yep, political solicitation to outside, and they must be more than 10 feet away from any entrance.
Okay, we have a motion. We have a motion by Denner, second by Gage. Is there any question on what we're going to do today, and the action we're gonna take until a full-blown written policy is put in place?
Effective immediately.
Yeah, effective immediately.
Any further discussion?
What's that?
If that's okay.
Yep, fine by me.
All right, so that would go into effect as soon as it's approved here today. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you, everyone, for coming in. Appreciate your time and your input. Next up, authorize chairman to sign notice to proceed for landfill scale bid. We approved the purchase and the install of the new scale at the landfill a couple weeks ago already. And it's just
Move.
motion by Weiss.
Second.
Second by Feldheim. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. The only thing I guess we forgot was the notice to proceed to approve the purchase.
We'll get paid if we can't wait.
That's right. All right, next up, consent calendar.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks, everyone.
Approval of the general meeting minutes of October 24th.
Motion by Weiss. Second by Gage. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Claims.
Move. Second.
Motion by Feldheim, second by Weiss. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
HR report.
Move.
Second.
Motion by Weiss, second by Gage. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Liquor license renewal.
Move. Second.
Motion by Feldheim, second by Weiss. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Claim assignment.
Move. Second.
Motion by Dennert, second by Weiss. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Auditor's report of accounts for September of 2023.
Move. Second.
Motion by Gage, second by Weiss. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Authorize advertising for tax deed sale.
Move. Second.
Motion by Feldheim, second by Dennert. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Travel request.
Move. Second.
Motion by Gage, second by Weiss. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Zoning ordinance, set hearing date and authorize advertising.
Move. Second.
Motion by Gage, second by Weiss. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Any other business to come before the Brown County Commission this morning? We've had a request to go into executive session for personnel and for legal.
Move.
Motion by Weiss.
Second.
Second by Dennert. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. We are in exec. All right. We are back in session, out of exec, with no action as a result. Is there anything else to come before the Brown County Commission this morning?
I'll go to the courthouse this afternoon for trick or treat.
That's right. Come down and get some candy. Get a sugar high.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Feldheim, second by Weiss to adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. We are adjourned. Happy Halloween, everyone.
Halloween.